Welcome to Retro Scale Modelling. The next build is this T34 by Zvezda Scale 172. This tank is going to be going with my Battle of Kursk diorama. So in the bag we have the lower half of the hull, small decal sheet, the kit itself. So the kit's quite basic, although there's still quite some nice detail on here, and the track. The track is again like the other ones from the Zvezda range that I'm doing for the Battle of Kursk. It's this bendable plastic. You do have to be careful with these because they can snap. So the instructions will be fairly simple. So just starts there and goes around. There's not much to the kit, the build as such. So you can treat this as a really quick build, just bash it out, and if you're going to be doing battle damage or something like that, or you can put a lot of detail into it, depends on the user. There's one option here for the stencils and painting, and it all relates to the Battle of Kursk. So I'll go away and get this primed and get in with the build. So beginning with the wheel rims, and it's UA734 by Life Colour, worn black, and like all the other tanks are done, this whole kit will be built in the same process as that, but I'll go through the steps anyway, just in case you've never seen one of these getting built. Onto the tracks, and then for the base coat I'm using Umbra 113 Rust. And this, as I said, is just the base coat, so you don't have to put it on perfectly, as long as it goes enough as covering. While that's drying, I'm painting the side hull of the tank with Umbra 117 US light green, and this is actually going to be the main colour of the tank itself. And then it's back to the track, and I'm using Umbra 53 gunmetal. And I'm just painting a light coating of this over the rust colour. So a little bit of paint on the brush, taking any excess off on a kitchen towel, then just rubbing along to give that metal sheen look. I'm also using the 53 Umbra for all the cables that are going to be running down the tank, and any bladed item and gun barrel. So it's back to the wheels, and it's 117 US light green once more, and that's painting the inside of the wheel. And now it's onto the main construction. Generally I would have this all painted on the sprue by now, but since the tank is going to be all the one colour, that's not really necessary, hence why I'm putting all the little bits and pieces in now. Just be careful, these pieces are absolutely tiny. You're going to need a good steady hand to place them in. Watch out for some of the recess holes for the parts as well. Some of them are a bit tight, but bear in mind this is a snap fit kit, so they are going to be tight. So just be a bit patient with it. There's only a couple of parts that you have to pre-assemble for placing them on. There's some cylinders that have to be made up. These come up in three parts, two end and a middle section. They're done in such a way as each end can only go on one way, so you shouldn't have any difficulty trying to decide which way they go on. Dry fit them obviously before you apply your cement, and you won't have any problem. These little cylinder things when they make up, they have quite a pronounced bracket on, and on the side of the tank there is a good recess point to hold them. Just again make sure that you have them facing the right way up, because things will have to slide underneath later on in the build. So it's on to placing the wheels onto the tank now. Now be careful here, I have a confession to make. I wasn't careful on this. I got a little bit too cocky. I thought, well, this is my 10th tank or something I can't remember how many I've done, but I've done quite a lot in the past couple of months, and so I went in automatic pilot mode and just threw the wheels on. I actually put the wrong wheels in the inner part of the tank. Now I left them like that because when I put them into the diorama, you're not really going to see them all that well. But it just goes to show you, it doesn't matter how experienced you are, if you don't pay attention to the instructions, things can go wrong. There's a little lamp that gets fitted at the side of the hull here. Make sure you have it in the right position. In fact, the instructions show you exactly how it's meant to go. It's always good to put this part on now, then paint it on later. But just be careful when you're handling the model afterwards that you don't press into it and snap it off. So back to the wheels and tracks. Now this is where I discovered I actually had placed the wrong ones on. So basically I put the outer ones into the inner position and vice versa. But I just persevered with it and cemented them on. If I wanted them free moving, that would have been a problem. I would have had to strip it all down and do it again. But since it's going to be a static model, it doesn't really matter. The track is bent around the wheel. The track itself is pliable, but don't expect too much of it. Don't bend it too much or it will snap. But once you get your main line of wheels in, just bend it gently around the wheels and it should fit. So now it's time to put on the upper hull. Again, this just sits on top of the lower hull there. It's meant to click into place, but you put a little bit of cement in and it should just go drop on without too much problem. So it's now time to make up the gun and the gun mounting turret. This is a very simple construction, one of the better ones I've found so far. The mounted bracket for the movement goes on first and that just gets clicked on at the side. Obviously you don't want to cement it if you want it to move. This then has two little location pins that just fit onto the inner part of the lower part of the turret. The gun's cover itself then just slides down to position. It will only go in one way, so just make sure you have it in the proper way. If you don't, just take it out and spin it around, put it in. You don't want to cement this if you're having it free moving, of course. Then it's time to place on the turret with the main part of the turret. Again, there's location pins, and there's 4 of them just in each corner, and it should just press into it. And once it's made up, the fixing collar then just gets cemented onto the main turret. Try and make sure you get the centre of the course. The top hatch is next for the turret, and that just simply goes onto the raised area before that completes the main turret. There's another 2 cylinders to make up at this point, but they're made up the exact same way as the first one, and they just run along the side of the tank. Again, the location points for them are well defined. You shouldn't have any problem putting them on. So it's time for painting, and it's a Humbrol 117 US light green. So I'm just painting the underside of the turret first, and I've set that to one side to dry, and start painting the main hull of the tank. So once it's all painted, all that's left to do really is put in all of the little bits and pieces, more bits and pieces. So the extra track, for instance, one part goes on the front, then there's another part that slides underneath the cylinders you put on earlier. This is why you have to make sure that you have them in the correct position. Next to go on are the 2 cables. Be careful these don't snap. I did actually have one snap on me, but it was in a place where it was easy to fix. They get inserted in the front of the tank. There's 2 little hooks for them to go on that you would have placed in earlier, and they just run along the side of the tank with the recess point where the cylinders are. And then once that's done, it's a matter of just popping on the turret. The turret wasn't a fantastic fit. I'm going to be truthful about this kit. It could have been a little bit better. It felt too loose, and if you want movement, you have to be careful when you're moving this tank around your display unit, because it may just pop off. It's time to put on the decals. The only set of decals that we have here are for the turret. There's a Russian name of some sort. I don't know what it says goes on there, but these decals are going on the normal manner, so softening up in some warm water, a little bit of decal solution onto the kit itself before sliding the decal into place. As I said, there's only a couple of decals to go on. Well, this will bring this little T34 to an end. As I said, these all these little tanks that I'm doing are part of the Battle of Kursk. It's not really an in-depth video that I've done here, it's more of a snapshot that I'm showing. That's because I have done a few of these tanks in the past that you can actually have a look at on my channel. And saying that, why don't you subscribe to that channel? You'll get notified of any upcoming builds and new content. Hit that like button and of course leave a comment. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.